Hi all. My name is Alok Kumar Jha. Currently, I'm working as a software developer in American product-based company. I have a total 4 year experience. Currently, I'm working in a Spring Boot applications, like how it works, and to implement those requirements through the Spring Boot applications. And then later we integrate those backend APIs to the front end with the Angular. So as in the current day, all the developers, like, there are lots of requirement and recruitment ongoing with the Spring Boot. So what are the topic you should cover when you are expecting, when you are thinking about, like, you should go to the another organization, or if you want to join another organizations. So the first thing they will ask, like, if I am an interviewer, I will ask, is Spring Boot CLI, like, how it works, what are the basic commands, like how you can create the project, if you are creating a project, how you can run it through the Spring Boot CLI. So the second thing is the transaction, how the transaction is work, how transaction is working in the Spring Boot, like if you are saving the data, if you're updating the data, how you can do that through a Spring Boot application. Since we have a transaction annotations in the Spring Boot, so we can achieve through that, but you should know like how it works and where we can use that transactional. Apart from that, event publisher and listener is a very important part in the Spring Boot applications. Sometimes you should accept some values that in coming from the different flow or different path of product, or different different APIs. So for that, you have to work on the publisher and the listener. So that is also a very important part in the Spring Boot application development. So we have a, like, at the rate event listener, if you want to listen the subject, if you want to define your own files on JSD on structure, so you can do that. So you should know like how event publisher and listener will work. Apart from that, exception handling is very important part. In the exception handling, we can implement the global exceptions. So how can we use the global exceptions? So we have a controller advice, we have exception and handler annotations. Controller advice annotation used to make the exception globally, and exception handler is basically the annotation that we can handle the specific exception. Yeah, and AOP is also important features like in the Spring Boot applications. So that is you should know like how and why it required and how it works. Security is optional because reason behind the security is it is required lots of things you should know. Before that, you if you have a experience on this, if you know how it works, like a Spring Boot transaction event exception AOP, then you can go through the security. Parallel to that, you should know like how Hibernate works. So and with parallelly, you can use the Spring Data JPA, or either you can use the Spring Data JPA, or you can use the Query DSLs. Query DSLs is basically very important feature nowadays. All organizations is moving towards the Query DSLs because it is a types safe, so that's why it is easy to handle. So let me yeah, this is the point you should cover.